Music fills the air, echoing through the night. Heavy footsteps in the background, shadows taking flight. Searching for cryptids in the dark we roam. Whisper O.C.S.T, calling them home. Lost in the wilderness, chasing the unknown.
In the heart of the wood, where the pine trees stand tall, lies a tale of the unknown, shrouded in
Music
mystery.
fills the air, echoing through the night.
Hello, everybody. This is Harold Milam.
And this is Mrs. Harold Milam.
Welcome to Bigfoot and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having a lot of technical
Yeah,
issues.
let's just get to the... This has not been the... No, I'm over today already.
So, how's everybody doing?
Thank you, Grace.
We have 3 special guests scheduled to come on the show. I accidentally just...
No,
okay.
he's still here.
Yeah, he's still there. Okay.
So let's do roll call and take a breather and make it happy because today is just not going the good day.
Okay. Just so everybody will stay tuned. We have Ron Cross waiting backstage. So those of you that have watched O.C.S.T, Bigfoot and stuff before, you know who
Hey,
Ron Cross
Tennessee,
is.
Kentucky Bigfoot. How's it going?
And speaking of Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot, we have them. They're going to be on the show tonight. Going to put the link up, so I'll do that now.
And then we're hoping that Midwest Night Watchers will
Yeah, I have
pop
to
in.
I have to send them the link. So
Hopefully they'll just pop in. So it's been a day.
Yeah, it has.
But I'm gonna do roll call since you're gonna do that. I'm gonna do roll call. Let's see who is in here first. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. Wait. Go to the very top, and obviously it's us. We're the first ones in always, it seems. Hey, Kat, how's it going? How's your grandma? I hope she's doing well. Hello, Grace. Thank you for the happy birthday for O.C.S.T. Much appreciated. Figgy, hola, ¿qué pasa? How are you? Yes, we're having issues. We're always having issues on Wednesday nights, it seems. Hey, Tennessee Bigfoot. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hey, is it Sean or Shane? I mess it up every time, but hey, Mr. Patterson, how are you? Hey, TKPism. I don't know how to do that. So, hang on 1 second.
Yeah, we'll add you to the stream here in just a minute.
And then who else is in here?
While you do that, I gotta get this sign up the date.
All right, it looks like that's it. Hang on, Tennessee Bigfoot. We're gonna come to you in just a second. We're breathing, I think. So I have a question for y'all. What do you guys think? It's not done yet. Don't hate on me. It's not done yet. I couldn't find my other stickers that I wanted to put up there. Midwest Night Watchers sent us some stickers, and I didn't know exactly where they were in the bedroom, but it's been a crazy day. And of course, I work today and trying to get things to help Harold with, and it's just been crazy. But happy birthday! Happy 1 year! anniversary to us. Are we excited? Yes, we are excited. Love it. Thanks. And we'll most definitely add more of this stuff as time goes on. We'll be adding some shelves, and we'll be adding some stuff from CRJ Designs and all that. And eventually, I'm hoping that this will be painted black, so it'll show up more. He's doing his nightly thing. He has to get done quick. This new time thing, it's an adjustment, so please stick with us. We are so sorry. Thank you, Mr. Patterson. We appreciate it. I want to send out prayers to Sharon Guy. She is not feeling 100%. She's been sick in bed most of the day, until last night even. So we're sending prayers for Sharon Guy, and yeah, we're excited. It's just been a very stressful day as far as the computer and the website and all the stuff that we're trying to get done for the new versions of O.C.S.T.
So
BIGFOOT and stuff.
prayers for Sharon Guy, and also a good friend of ours that has been with us from the start, Ron Moore Sr., or I'm sorry, not Ron, Randy Moore
Randy
Sr.
Moore.
Hold on. Randy Moore Sr. has been really sick in the hospital.
Yeah.
And he just got let to go home.
Yay!
But he said he's still really sick. So if you
We'll
guys
send
could
prayers to him as well.
Yeah, pray for
We
him.
better add some people so they all.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna bring everybody
hopefully,
up.
Without further ado, let's hope
Right.
these guests like our hello. Okay, we can't wait. We can't see everybody. Hang on.
I'm gonna do a different
that one. Yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah, there we go.
How does that look? Hey guys.
Well, looks good.
Hey Ron, how are you?
Been busy.
Yeah, we're okay. TKP, where are you? TKB. Hello.
Uh-oh.
Let's come back. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, just come back when you can.
Get the chat so I can see.
All right.
All right. There you go.
Woohoo. Relax.
Oh yeah, this
All
is
right.
everybody.
So what you been up to?
Well, I've had a lot of things going on personally. I had my best friend that I knew back in the 80s. He passed away, had ALS. So that's been kind of a chore. And then my brother had some medical issues and trying to take care of people and do emergency management stuff here with Logan County and all kinds of things. So it's one thing after another. And then I did see Tanya Kordick last weekend at the what is it called? Bigfoot Enigma Research Center and Museum. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so they've got everything down there now, and she's got up everything. So as you've noticed in the past, I had my pros display banner up that I would use when I did public speaking. So I donated that to Tanya. So she put it up, and then I donated her my book to use for tours and things like that. So Tanya has those, and I think it's going very well. And I think that the main thing with the center is that they didn't have a lot of area to do a lot of public speaking and not only tours or whatever. They could do tours, but they wanted to get out there and help teach and share things with people. So she's asked me to do that in January. And I just said, well, let me get with you and see what's going on. But yeah, I'm happy for them. So I've been working with that. In Fort Reno, of course, I do the ghost tours there at Fort Reno. So the government shutdown had happened. So it closed them down. And I think we've got an event coming up there. I think it's Daughters of the American Revolution coming up at Fort Reno. And that's going to be, I think, the 20th of November, just off the top of my head. So pretty busy.
Wow.
Oh, there's more, but I won't get into it. So. How are you guys doing? got married and the whole thing. And
We
Yeah.
did. We actually, yeah, we got married on the 8th, and things have been crazy since. Trying to get everything ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were on my neck of the woods down there where I grew up, there at Medicine Park. I didn't grow up in Medicine Park. I grew up in Lawton. And there's a lot of Bigfoot activity down there. And even the military, it's always hush-hush. You have to know the right people. And if you're one of those people that can just talk to people and they trust you, you'll hear a lot of stories. You know, I didn't live, we had property just south of the wildlife refuge, and there was some activity down there. We were Indian students in school, so there was a lot of stories of Bigfoot. They call him Wild Man or Hairy
Right.
Man, typically, and then you would hear stories about deer women and little people. I saw a little person. I think I talked about that on the show. And the fortunate or unfortunate thing about it was I had my twin brother with me when we had that experience. So it just wasn't me and my imagination. I mean, he saw the same thing I did at the same time. And him and I have had a lot of paranormal experiences together. You know.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so I'm glad you guys got to go down there. I guess you didn't see the well, say uninvited or invited guests. You didn't show up at Bigfoot, right? But there's a lot of them in that area. So did you go out and do any looking or anything? Not necessarily for
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
When I was living down there,
Yeah.
where me and her, of course, we met online, and then she came down and visited, and I took her out to the parallel forest
Okay.
for her first investigation. I had been doing several investigations before that in the wildlife refuge and in Lawton itself. But I took her out to the refuge, and at the parallel forest, she didn't see one, but she had one looking directly at her, and I didn't even see it out there. But when we reviewed the tape, it showed the Bigfoot standing behind a tree, and of course trying to block our view of it, and it was staring right at her. When she pointed me right to it, she, without knowing, she goes, "I feel something over there," and she pointed right at where that Bigfoot was, and it was watching her until I got in the picture, and I went to snap the picture. It started moving with me in the video. I didn't see it at the time, but it moved with me at the same time I was going another direction to try to go over to that area. So when we got over to that area, just before it, there was this bush that had a broken top. It was bent over and pointing in the direction of where that Bigfoot was. So I go in there and I start talking about an uprooted tree, and right when I pointed down at that uprooted tree, we got growled at. So that was her experience, her first one. I think I've told you about my first experience actually in Lawton, but I'm not going to go deep into
we're
that.
not going to go deep into
But-
this because it's about birthday celebration and 1 year.
But when you talk about the surrounding area of wildlife refuge, there's all kinds of reports
There it is.
of Bigfoot. There's all kinds of reports of Dogman even around there. So
Hey, Gerald.
paranormal goes hand in hand with it. So hey, Gerald. Girl, you have sound? Jane.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here
we
comes
go.
the party. Okay. TKB. Hit that link. If I couldn't get the link to come back up. Sorry.
Oh my goodness, I'm mirrored. Oh, Daryl's mirrored. We're all mirrored.
Hi, mirrored. No.
Let me know when you can hear me.
Can you
We
hear
can
me?
hear
you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you can. All right.
Jane and Gerald, this is Ron. Ron, this is Jane and Gerald of Midwest Night Watchers. How there
Hi,
you go.
Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Nice to meet y'all.
Woohoo! Now look. Now we're having a party.
We're here.
See, this is
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
yes.
we-
Okay, cool.
Logically insane.
Woohoo!
Cool.
Party.
All right.
Party on the house.
Oh my gosh, this is fun. This is the
Heck
most
yeah.
people we've
Here
had.
comes my dad. But
Cool.
All right.
Yay!
filling up the house. We had to reboot.
Happy birthday, guys.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah. For those of you that are just tuning in, this is O.C.S.T. Bigfoot and
Bigfoot.
Stuff's first birthday.
First
So we're
birthday.
celebrating the first year.
Today.
Yeah.
Today.
And it's also O.C.S.T. the channel's 3rd anniversary. So we had that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that actually happened on November 26th, but we waited for
Yes.
this day. So thank you.
I can't believe I've been doing this stuff for a year on this show. What? What?
We're getting close to 3 years, and I'm going, how has it been 3 years that we've been doing a podcast?
Right? It goes by quick.
3
Yeah,
years?
it goes by fast. Yeah.
Wait,
I
you
don't
guys-
know.
yeah. I'm so excited.
Yeah, sorry for the late start, but all kinds of technical issues. I had the perfect
Mike
beginning.
Nation. Sorry.
I had the perfect beginning all set up and everything, and then I go to put it on Restream, and it's too long.
Yeah.
Even though it was the same length as my original beginning. So, but
Yeah, it's been a crazy day. It's
Yeah.
been a very crazy day. So, Midwest Night Watchers, what are you guys up to?
Nothing. Just trying to stay warm and shoveling snow every other day.
Stay
Yeah,
in.
you guys keep that stinking snow up there.
Where you at?
Central Illinois.
Oh, okay. I used to live in South Bend, Indiana, and I was a district trainer, and I had a 4-state area and 52 locations. So I had from Michigan, from the UP down, and then all of Indiana, part of Ohio, and part of Illinois. So it kept me running around. So I've seen a lot of lake effect snow.
Yeah, you know all about the snow then.
Oh yeah, I remember. You know, I come from
You're
Oklahoma,
right there.
and it was snowing, so I went out and I had to go to Indianapolis the next morning. So it's about a 3-hour drive or more. And so I went out and shoveled off my car, brushed it off, and got it all pretty. And looked out the window in an hour. My car was completely covered. Didn't even look like I touched it. So, lake
Yeah,
effect.
we just got 12 inches the other night. Then we got 5 more added to that. Then we're supposed to get some more tonight, I think.
Yeah, lake effect snow, right?
Yeah.
Please keep it
No,
up.
this was just a regular storm. Ours wasn't even lake effect.
Oh wow, wow.
Oh my gosh. And we're actually supposed to get some, I don't even want to call it snow. It's supposed to be like sleety rain junk. I don't even want to know what it's supposed to be. But we're supposed to get that tonight.
Yeah. So Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves to those that haven't met y'all yet?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're good friends with Gerald and Jane. Hey, Gerald, Jane,
Most
good to see you guys
definitely.
first.
Hey, how's it
Hi, Matt
going?
and Jim.
And Ron,
Ron,
good to see you,
awesome.
man. Oh, I don't know. We're down here in Tennessee. We ain't got no snow. We was out cleaning chicken coop today.
Yeah,
And
getting all that good enzymes in
this
us.
is my son, Matt. And we're like everyone here, experiencers. You know, what's going to pop up next? But, you know, I do have to say Gerald and Jane is just embarrassing NASA. I mean, I used to watch NASA. Now I'm like, no, I'm going to watch Gerald and Jane's. They got better video.
Yeah, they got more evidence, and they keep it.
Yeah, we're hoping to get more. And now that we got fresh snow on the ground, we're hoping to go to Jane's den that she discovered and see if we can find any kind of tracks around it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
Can't wait.
That'd be wonderful.
I happened across that video when y'all first posted it. And I was like, ooh, Bigfoot. It was like immediately when I saw that, and I'm telling her, I'm like, there's not that much area, but
They live
You
in
know-
our backyard. There
Yeah.
ain't no area back there neither, but they seem to freaking manage to live back there.
I don't think they're actually living over there. I think that's a hunting ground.
yeah, I think that's
I think, you know, they're building that blind. They're waiting for the deer to come from the Illinois River, cross those fields, and they'll just snatch them. I think it's a hunting ground. I don't think they actually stay there because it's a very thin area, and it's awfully close to town too.
yeah, they have a good vantage point of a lot of area
Oh yeah,
there. Yeah,
yeah. They can check out, you know, like 6, 7 fields where they're kind of hiding in there.
hmm
Yeah.
Jane, is that same place where that gremlin been riding the fox from the foxhole or something or other?
Yes, that was the first video. You guys saw the first video when I first discovered it. It's like a mound. So I don't know if it's an actual animal den for like coons and wildcats and things like that, because I don't see the animals coming from that area. So I
Yeah, I
don't
think-
know if they can pop in the orbs or shrink down and they're living in that little mound. I really don't know. But a normal Bigfoot would not be able to fit in those little doorways.
Yeah,
So
I think-
this last video was the third one that we walked all the way over there and checked it out. That's when I discovered the new blind.
Cool.
And there's more tree breaks, and these breaks are not from storms. They're being broken and up against the trunks, and they're laying down up against the trunks.
right.
And there's several areas around here that's doing that. So it's not normal breaks. I don't know if it means, hey, this is our hunting area, leave us alone, or what, but these are not normal breaks going all the way down the trunk. And
Right.
several different areas has these markings of these brokes.
Yeah, we've had 3 breaks that were on our property that I think it was Matt and other people or Scott. It wasn't Bigfoots from the readings they were getting. One of them was just some mean thing that was in our front yard that broke a limb. I think you talked to the tree.
Did
But we never
did
could
it
find
break
out what
off,
did
though?
that.
Did
Huh?
it break off or just bent?
It broke it.
It
Like
broke
you
it.
said, broke it down. Like it was just mean.
The bottom branch.
Whatever it was mean. It wasn't a Bigfoot. That was a weird thing. And then we had up in Kentucky, that 7 miles that time, another reading we got there. That wasn't a Bigfoot. It was something there's something mean out there that just breaks trees.
Just breaking the trees. It's like they're marking territory or something like that. That
Right.
type of species doing that, or race, whatever they are.
Yeah,
They're
whatever it
just
is.
trying to mark their other species,
That's
race to
interesting.
do something. I don't know.
That's
at least
what I'm
show their
picking up. That
territory.
they're marking their territory, saying, hey, this is our spot.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
trying to see if they could stand in that spot and see if they'll be able to withstand that area. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know. Depending on the situation. You
It
know?
kind
Yeah.
of looks like they keep going up and down the same tree, and they're eventually breaking everything down while they're going up.
Yeah,
And they're not dead
Jane-
either. They still live. It's just like they're bent down, and
Yeah,
they just
Jane,
stay
when you-
there.
when you go out there next time, try to pinpoint exactly what those limbs are pointing at or towards.
They're just pointing down to the ground. They're up against the trunk.
If
Right.
they're like arches, I seem to tend to see that being more like a Bigfoot type of deal. But if those are actually like the trees broke,
Mhm.
those ones are like some other type of being. But if they're like arching type of
Yeah.
work with the trees, not damaging the tree, and the tree's still living like that with no splinters in the wood, that's tend to be a Bigfoot because they have more care about the trees.
It seems like the
Right.
Bigfoot more,
Something-
Bigfoot seems sensible, not like just stupid breaks.
Yeah.
They mark, they do
They're
stuff,
not
you
really
know.
bends either. They are actually broken flat up against the trunk going down.
Yeah, it sounds like
That might be something else then.
something weird roaming out there.
And then someone said dogmen usually claw trees, and I did not see any claw marks on the barks and stuff.
Yeah, we were told in the past, I think Janice Carter was telling us that the dogmen will when they like on the arches, they bury the ends
Right.
where the Bigfoots don't. And we've noticed that, you can see on a lot of the arches, they'll bury the very tip of it. And supposedly dogmen bury the tip, hold it down. But whereas a Bigfoot will put another limb or another stick over it instead.
Mhm.
So we've noticed that. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's like,
Yeah, it's like a certain type would put a rock at the top of its break, of the top of the branch that's hitting the ground. They'll put a rock on top of it, or they'll put a stick on top of it. I don't know what the difference
Right.
was, but she was
when
saying
Dogman stomps it in the ground, you'll see it actually stomped into the ground.
Stomped.
It'll be stomped and
Yeah.
it'll be dirt on top of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Stomp it in the ground.
That'll be with dirt. That'll be the other type.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like the tree bend that I pointed out to one of our gracious hosts for our location B. I pointed that out to her at the end of the video. It was like seeing how that limb was just shoved into the ground, and the limb both limbs that were in the ground were that thick, and they were shoved clear down
Shoved in the ground.
into the ground, and she didn't even know anything about that stuff. She was like so excited because it was new to her, and I'm like, yeah, that I said, if you find these, don't bother them.
Yeah. Well, there's another one. Just you made me reminded me. Now there's a 7 mile dirt road. We got a video, of course. 7 miles on the left side. They broke limbs all the way down that 7 miles. And now these, whatever did that, which we were from the reading, it wasn't a Bigfoot. It brought the limb down and would be about an inch from touching the road, almost exactly on every tree, all the way down. The perfection of something that definitely said, "We are here and we're conscious." And we don't know what it was, but that's what it did, which was a crazy thing. It would just, a full tree would just barely, it'd be like an inch away almost perfectly on all the trees, or pretty much most of the trees on 7 mile road, about every 200 or 300 feet.
Mhm.
Right.
If I remember right, each one of them was broke. There
then
might have
bent.
been one or two that might have been bent, but I remember majority of them being broken.
Yeah, different break. They were like
Very different breaks. But that
instead
big,
of a bow. Yeah,
it-
broke bow, but broke bow. Yeah.
yeah. But there was that one big arch that I was like pointing at this tree and be like, "Hey, this would be cool that a Bigfoot would be able to do an arch with and such." And this next time we showed up in the same area, Kentucky, that spot, they arched that tree perfectly where it barely touched the ground on the road.
Yeah, we were standing there and,
Stiff,
and he was way up, I don't know, 20, 30 feet up on rocks. And there was a tall, like Gilligan's Island, there's this tall tree. And he was joking about it'd be fun or something that they would arch this tree. Anyway, he slid down that tree. Anyway, it was probably the next week that we went up and they had arched that tree, exact tree that he shimmied down. They arched that big, huge thing. That's when I knew these people are talking to us. You know, that was probably the most exciting video I think I ever did. Because I knew that they're talking to us. How could they not be talking to us? I knew we were here. They actually did this. It was kind of like a gift. We call it Matthew.
Well, they heard you. That's that's even bigger thing that they actually heard you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I knew it was a gift. Look at this. The park rangers, of course, cut it down. They hate anything that shows that there's something out there communicating with people. They hate it. I don't know. Well, they just don't hate it. They just are not allowed. You know, they can't leave trees upside down with the root balls up in the sky. They're like, we got to get rid of that. That's not good. People are going to see it and they're going to think there's something out here.
You know what I find with people is that if you find one, I had some property east of Oklahoma City, and I was hunting out there, and I shot at a bag that I put out to make sure my gun was still sighted in, and it wasn't that far away. You know, you got your point blank relatively close to where you can zero in at. You know, and so I'd fired the gun. It was on target, and I'd hunted that next day. Didn't see anything, and I have one of those experiences where I saw one in my mind walk behind or out of the tree and just disappear. And I'm like, I wasn't even thinking about Bigfoot. So I didn't see a deer that day, and I found it funny. And when I got back to where I was camping, I was sleeping in the back of my truck, and the bag that I'd shot at was on the ground. I didn't pay attention. So the next morning, I'd shot a deer, and I went to clean up all my trash, and that bag was hanging on a limb that had been twisted. And there's no thing out there bigger than a deer. I mean, we have bears in Oklahoma, but they're more in the eastern part of the state, so 150 miles away, and you could see where it was twisted. And then there was a set of footprints that I found too that went right next to where I was camping at, and then in knee-high grass and about 6 feet apart. And so, I find it funny when people say, I don't believe in Bigfoot, or I think people are pranking. Why would somebody go out there and prank? And how in the heck could they twist that limb? And then the next morning or the next week, I went out there hunting again, and I knew they were in an area at that point in time, and it got ready to storm. So I said, well, it's black powder season. So I thought, well, we'll just pack it up and go. And I heard one, and it was a lot like Ron Moorhead's sound. I can say it sounded something like this, and then it said, yeah, at the end. Perfectly clear, yeah. It didn't scare me, but it got my attention. And I think when a lot of people have those things or they experience something like that, it scares them. And I think that sometimes with Dogman, I've never seen a Dogman that I know of, but I think just the fact that people see one, it scares their pants off. And so here you are. Every one of us has known somebody that's scared of a mouse or a spider or anything, scary to them. It could be a snake and they'll climb the furniture or run out of the house just because of a snake or a spider. So I don't know if they're always evil and they're painted that way, but I think some of them definitely are, But I've never had a real bad experience with a Bigfoot. Back in the 80s, I had one. We were out camping, survivalists, and we had one throw something in the water, whistle at us. I didn't know back then. Nobody knew about that kind of stuff. But I think being that y'all are out there all the time, you probably have heard all that stuff and probably not scared of it. But a lot of people, they heard the whistling and a large object comes crashing through the trees and freak them out, So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. There ain't no way to prove any of that stuff. It's there, but they're definitely talking to you through things. So there's something out there talking with you.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people too that you can call it the woo, whatever. I call it the multivores. And with that said, if they're, and a lot of people speculate that they're human. I'm not saying they are or aren't. I haven't seen the definitive proof yet, but a lot of native people, they have some gifts like telepathy and that, and that was part of their culture. And so, if he is a human in some way, it's very possible that they have those gifts too, and they can project things to you. I'm a twin, and so I grew up having these somewhat telepathic abilities. So I know it's real. I held a certification in parapsychology. Been doing this stuff for 40 years, and a lot of people in the West have no idea because it's been hidden. But there's CIA documents out there that expose a lot of it, or some of it. I also investigated the Oklahoma City bombing, and what you've been told is all lies, I can tell you, but we won't get into it here. But I do think there's a lot of things that it's a mystery, but it's really not until you experience it, And we were told as Indian students growing up, I grew up around the Comanche, Kiowa, and Apache, and they told us, don't talk about this stuff with the white people, no offense, but because they don't believe in it. So that's just part of their culture. So I was exposed to a lot of it, and I heard a lot of weird stories from the Indian people. And it's funny because a lot of people always say, drunk Indian told that story. But I would assume that most of the people that I got the source from, they were not drunk. So, and there's a lot of stuff like I was telling Harold earlier, there at Fort Sill. It's kind of, I call it hilly terrain. And there's a lot of stories that the soldiers talk about. And on the west side of the range, I think a lot of them refer to it as Guam. So I think there's a lot of stories out there about this stuff. But it's good you guys are out there making the public aware of it. I talk about these things when I do the tours at Fort Reno, which is about 40 miles west of here. And I usually bring cryptids to it, tell about the Bell Witch and other cryptids. So it kind of opens that door. And occasionally somebody will approach me and tell me they had a Bigfoot experience. So anyway.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, we don't, we're just too, I call us homemade Amish. We're living out here in the country. Yeah, that's what I call us. Redneck homemade Amish. That's the only way I could put it. Is I can't define it any way else, but
redneck ingenuity with
this kid of mine, he was born here on the Appalachian Rocks, and so I think it's something to do with the crystals or something because his ability to talk to trees and everything else. But anyway, we raised chickens and farm. We were out there filling the, cleaning out the chicken house and, just natural people. So this whole Bigfoot thing, like most of us were like, hey, there's something in the woods talking to it. I've never seen him, but Matt's he had
I've
an
saw it.
opportunity, to see his buddy up in a tree up here one time. But we're not.
Right.
We're Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot came about because we're only been into Bigfoot in 3 or 4 years because it's only been 3 or 4 years probably since we had our experience and started realizing there's something out in the woods, and we were so excited because we're like most people. I didn't know that all the Bigfoot channels have just come out in the last few years, and so many people have come out, and so it's exciting right now. Just listen to all the experiences now. Every time I turn around, there's so many
experience. It's outrageous.
It's exciting, hearing everyone.
It's like, oh wow,
it exploded.
And then the thing is that there's so many other people too out there that don't want to talk about it because they may get labeled as a freak for believing this, 9-foot, 10-foot, 15-foot creature that lives out in the woods, and you don't normally get to see them because they like to hide. Of course, And the thing is that I wouldn't have dreamed about doing this stuff 3 years ago if you would have told me I'd be on YouTube talking about Bigfoot, and I would have said, yeah, you're crazy and you're drinking something because it's funny how God works. I mean, I wouldn't have thought, 4 years ago I would have met somebody that was interested in Bigfoot. I mean,
Right.
or me drawing a Bigfoot for that fact. I mean, or talking to people from Tennessee and, Illinois and Kentucky and Oklahoma. And,
all over the world now, right?
For real.
It's funny. Tanya Kordick, the lady that runs the Bigfoot Museum here in Oklahoma, her and her husband started experiences, Bigfoot. And anyways, it was people like her and others like yourselves that they wanted to know more. And then once they got to know more, word got out and people come, hey, I got to tell you this. You won't believe this. And then you're like, you know what? That's the same thing that happened to me. And same evidence, maybe tree breaks, whatever. And I think that a lot of people have now come out. And if we go back 20 years ago, it was the same thing in the paranormal world. And I'd worked with people like Dennis Houck, who's a consultant for the movie White Noise. And a lot of people got involved in the paranormal, and there were ghost hunters galore. And most of them were kind of out there curious to start out with and had experience, and others were out there to make money. And I think it's the same thing in the Bigfoot world. It's the same thing. You got people like yourselves that are out there trying to share their experiences, and they're not afraid to do so. And then you got the people that are out there to do one thing, make money and a name for themselves. And once you get the media involved, I can tell you, having worked with some of the media in the past as kind of a consultant, a lot of times they would want you to embellish. And I just didn't put up with it, but that's the way it is. So sometimes there's people leading in front of the media that I think have misrepresented the whole field and pushing narratives, But people like y'all are going to get the truth out because you have shows like this. And again, happy birthday and all. People like yourselves and others that are going to get the truth out. So now people don't trust the media, which is a good thing, And I think it's a good thing that again, each of you out there doing it. Congratulations and keep it up. I'm just saying.
So funny. I was reading chat and goes, and don't forget about me in Ohio, Mike Nation. We love you, Mike. Yes. Welcome to our family.
Yeah, Ohio's busy.
Ohio's quite busy.
Ohio and parts of is it northwestern Pennsylvania and that area, and it's crazy up there too. And we've got friends up there that do it there, and of course, MT Paranormal Life that does it. Squash Topic PA, he does it.
Yeah, Squash PA.
He's
I'm
good.
just of all the things to talk about. Oh, here's the funny thing. Okay, so I never would think in 2 million years also that some of my family even believe in Bigfoot, which was so funny because when I introduced Harold, he was wearing a shirt kind of like he is right now with a Bigfoot on it and whatever. And my cousin looks at him and goes, "Is that a Bigfoot on your shirt?" She goes, "Oh my gosh, I've got a story for you." And I just looked at her dumbfoundedly. Of course, if I don't ever talk about it, I never know. My family, I would have never known that. So yeah,
True.
it's weird. It is so weird.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I never thought in a million years I'd be approached in a grocery store.
Local Walmart.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I watch your show."
Ah,
That'd be cool.
Like,
Yeah, okay.
That's pretty cool. But you know, it's like what you were saying, Ron. It's like I didn't start this wanting to make money. I didn't.
right.
And
Yeah, you find out the hard way. It's not easy to make money.
right, it's not easy. But from the beginning and until the end, when I make my last video, it's always going to be about finding the truth for myself first and foremost, because of the way I was introduced to them, and that includes Bigfoot, all cryptids, and the paranormal. I've experienced it all, and I have questions for myself. So every time I go out and I film, it's my motivation to find the truth for myself.
Mhm.
And I think that's what every good paranormal researcher and cryptid researcher needs to go into the field thinking is do it for yourself first and foremost, because there's always answers. You just have to find them.
Yeah, the other thing, Harold, we had a site there in Guthrie, Oklahoma, and we're probably at the train station. And
Oh yes, the
okay,
depot.
so right across to the west, I rented that building there, and it had activity in it for about 10 years. And 7 of those 10 years, we had live cameras. And we were up there every weekend. I had a crew of people, and I'm still in contact with some of them. But we had a lot of experiences, and we found out, too, that if we had an overwhelming number of women there, like 3 guys to 7 women or, something like that, the place got very active. I mean, there was kinetic activity. Things were thrown, voices were heard, you name it, we had it happen there. And the only way you're really going to learn is, like you said, Harold, and that is get out there in the field. And what you have to do is communicate with like people and learn.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are not willing to learn. So I had a lot of people approach me that knew my background and said, you have a certification in parapsychology. You've been doing this stuff for many, many years. I want to learn. Okay. And then they would get off onto a tangent, and that stopped their learning right away because they got some idea that ghosts are a demon or whatever. And you're like, no, it's really, when you look at quantum physics and the multiverse, that's what you're dealing with. And they never would dig far enough. They got off on their own rabbit trail and got lost along the way. And I saw a bunch of it, and then there are the people trying to make money. And I don't think any of you guys are trying to make money. I'm not. I mean,
We're not monetized.
yeah, I lost thousands of dollars, and people would look at me and go, let me get this straight. You're paying to sit in a cold, abandoned warehouse, and you're losing money. How does that work out? But we learned a lot, and I shared those experiences with people. And I think you guys are out there doing the same thing. So congratulations to each and every one of you, seriously.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money on outdoor cameras, not just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got. I think we got. How many cameras? I counted the other day. 20. I don't know if it's 20 and 20, but it's up there. 12, 15 that run 24/7.
Yeah.
But it's calmed down. Our stuff, Jade and Gerald's put us off the map, though. I mean, their stuff is jolly. I mean, there really is some amazing cameras, especially we've tried sky cameras and stuff. We follow any kind of information. We follow orbs. We follow everything, but we're still impressed. If you guys haven't seen their images, we watched one of their shows the other night, and
I really like that ferry video you had.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. We get
Okay.
we haven't seen the ferry back in quite a while, but it's
Been
been
a
we
while.
still run all these cameras 24/7. And if I post anything, but it's been quiet. I think I run everything off with cameras. You know how that is. They eventually go, it's all right.
It will
And they leave.
Yeah, we had a ferry on our camera 3 years ago when we started our podcast, and it lasted a couple of weeks, but we haven't seen anything down here in the basement since.
Yep.
But it was not a cobweb, and it was not a feather, it was not cat hair. This thing has changed shape and moved and went behind his head, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've been I
Wow.
kind of
You know
studying.
what's really funny is when you study the paranormal and its essence and everything that's paranormal, you begin to realize it's funny. And I run this Strange Oklahoma page on Facebook, and it's got 27,000 members there. And I'm the main admin. And anyways, it's funny. You'll get a lot of people say, you know what? I don't believe in ghosts, but I believe in Bigfoot. And then you got the other team or other people saying the same thing. And if you say something about little people, whether it's a fairy or none of you is what the Comanche calls the little Indian people, or a leprechaun or anything else, you're a kook. But you believe in Bigfoot, but you don't believe in the other. And that's what I'm getting at. A lot of people just don't have that mindset of opening up their mind. And if you go study worldwide, you'll see that phenomena has been reported in every culture, just about. They have something going on there. And I think it's just funny that they believe in ghosts, but they don't believe in Bigfoot. But I believe in Bigfoot and Dogman, but I don't believe in ghosts. And I think until we open our minds, we're never going to learn. And I think a lot of
Exactly.
people have a shut mind.
Right.
That ghost activity could actually be fae, not spirits.
No, that's
They are tricksters.
Yeah, no, that's true. I live in a haunted house, and I've seen all kinds of things here, lights turned on, and apparitions and voices and whatever. And I'm getting to be an old man now, and this has been going on my whole life, along with my twin brother. And he had a skinwalker visit at his house, and his wife is Native American, and wrote something on the TV, and I have those pictured. I don't share it very often because people just simply dismiss it and go, if it's him and her there, one of you had to draw. It can't be something else. One of them had to draw. Well, I know my twin brother. I know he didn't draw it. I know his wife didn't draw it. And then it was funny. His daughter, she's passed on now. She was a doctor, went to Illinois and found the same thing on her windshield.
Oh.
Oh wow.
So how do you explain it? So here she is, scientific, calls my brother up. And my brother's laughing and calls me and said, hey, Brittany experienced this, and sent him pictures. And they had talked about these things, and yet it happens to his daughter. And then shortly thereafter, they started having stuff happen at their house. So I don't know what happened.
Wow.
But if we seek the answers, we're going to learn. But unfortunately, a lot of people out there in the field don't have that open mind. And I'll tell you a little secret. See the flag behind me? You know what that G stands for? Anybody?
I think it's
Connor, do you know what the G stands for in this one?
whatever.
It's the Masons.
It stands for
Masons.
geometry. And
Geometry,
a lot of
okay.
stuff, okay, a lot of it in geometry is what is God's signature in the universe. You look at tornadoes, or you look at universes when they're created, it has a certain form. And so everything that's been created according to the Bible, Isaiah 55, 8 and 9, basically says our minds are not of God's and our thoughts are not his thoughts. And so all these things that are created, when you look at things like Andrew T. Sanderson, he wrote a paper and a book, I think, in 1972, and he talked about the devil's triangles around the world. And that's all based in geometry. And if you go look at places and smaller places around the U.S. and other places, they have the same strange phenomena that's being reported, but it's not as well known unless you're from that area. Like the Bennington Triangle and the Michigan Triangle, all of them have triangles. So it's geometry. And so as a Mason, we're taught to study geometry is the most noble of science. Why? Because that's what God used to create everything. So a lot of those answers I think are pretty simple, and we try, but we don't know because nobody ever told us. So it's all based on
Um,
geometry.
one of our viewers, Grace, has a question. She says, "Do we all think they are Nephilim?"
I don't think they're all Nephilim. I don't know. But what I will say is, let's just say they're another type of people. That's what the native has always said. They're another type of people. My dad was Cherokee, and we were raised Indian students. And a lot of people, they would say they're people like us, and they would trade with them. The Cherokees would and others, and some of them, just like Indians, it went into the scale. The other Cherokees, they were the most civilized. The most violent Indians, go look it up, were the Comanches. And so if you were captured by a Comanche, you're dead. Bottom line, if you ran into the Cherokee and were lost, they would feed you and take care of you. So, I think just like people, I think they're the same thing. Some are good, just like people, and some are bad. So you go to certain places where they don't want you there, they're gonna run you off and mistreat you. But I think too that if you disturb them, just like me knocking on your door and calling you as a telemarketing person, I think you get on their nerves. And that's when you're going to get the negative activity.
Mhm.
Yeah, that sounds right. And my viewpoint on Nephilim, I've got, my studying, and I've got some crazy viewpoints. So, if you don't like them, that's okay. Because I mean, it's just, I
It's
got my
just a
viewpoint.
view.
But, originally in the Bible, it says the sons of God fell to heaven or whatever. It didn't say the fallen ones. So that's been changed. So you got to go back a little further and you'll see the sons of God. And so, that's who the Nephilim are. And I've always wondered who the sons of God were. And that's angels, right? I guess that was God's sons. And so I don't know if they went left or right, or they're just, I can't say if they're
All
good,
fallen.
but that blood I think is still throughout, like the royals might have it. And a lot of people have it, and they have these powers they have powers. And so, but whether they use them for good or bad, I don't know. So that's the whole thing with the Nephilim. I can't, point my finger at even one human or one Bigfoot or one giant and
Well,
say
when you
they're
say the
evil. I
sons
think
of
that's got to,
God,
that's
if
one way I got.
if God's a creator and he created us all, which he did, doesn't matter. We have good sons and bad sons. And
Right.
some of them are sitting in prison. Not mine are, but I'm just saying. So I think,
Oh.
some of them,
He tried.
anyways, I think that we have good ones and bad ones. And
I
I
agree
think
with
some of them went the wrong way,
Yeah.
And there are some reports of nasty creations, if you want to call it that. You look at things in the Bible like the Leviathan, and there's a big debate on exactly what that is, or other things. So there's a lot we don't know, and so we can't find those answers in the Bible. Even if you speak fluent Hebrew or anything else, still some of that's an interpretation.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
the word cat. You're talking about a tiger or a house kitty.
Or a panther.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think my favorite, one of my favorite Bible verses is Genesis 25:25. And he came out hairy as in a garment. I was talking about Esau.
Yep, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
was red, right? And he was red. Oh, and I'm going, whoa, they said that. They said that, Genesis 25:25. I just think that dude was hairy.
He was hairy.
And he would come out red. And they said it was hairy like a garment. I'm like, that was a pretty hairy dude.
Yep. I believe Esau was a Bigfoot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it made sense. But and see, Bigfoots, they didn't, we just started calling them Bigfoots the last, I don't know, 20 years.
Probably
my
just
grand-
a
my
long
grandfather-
hair, hairy man.
Yeah. My grandfather, they used to put food out for the hairy people or the crazy people here in Tennessee. See, Tennessee, we got a lot of Appalachian people, and that's what they were considered.
Almost
And
like
now,
hobos
and
in
now
the
we're
world.
like, wait a minute, who are these hairy people? And now they've got a new name called Bigfoot. But back then, it was private because they felt like these people needed to be private, and so they would put food out by the fence line, and they kind of, my whole ancestry is pretty much from this area, and so, he worked with the people in the woods. But now, being a Bigfoot, I think that really does kind of imagery of movies and stuff have really put a whopping on most of
Put
us.
a twist on it, like, oh, you're supposed to be scared of this monster because that's what he is. What? No, he's just a man in the woods. You could give him like a watermelon, and he'll be happy and won't bother you. That's like right.
But to
I
get
mean, not
back to the
the other
Teflon,
thing.
But you know, the
all
other thing that, go ahead,
the
John.
fallen ones, when the fallen ones came down, and they didn't just go after the beautiful women down here, they went after everything. So you've got mermaids, frogman, werewolves, dogman, otter man. They interbred with everything.
Anything that
And you've
moved, it
got
was
all these crazy creatures. But now, if you're looking at half human, that's why some of these Sasquatch are gentle. They are taking after more human than the animals. Some of them are possibly rogue. We have heard too many stories of the military underground creating them or making them bionic, like $6 Million Man.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the red eyes, I'm kind of wondering, if they are lab created or added to, did they get a help Garrow with the name, dicyanin contact
right.
that you see the red eyes, they're actually night vision.
I've been thinking about that for a while
Yeah.
now. Yeah, that's what I've been thinking as well. Them red eyes could be just night vision eyes.
So some
Yeah,
of them are
I
probably
saw
man
'em.
created and some of them are, just natural. And yes, I do believe that some of them are good. Even Dogman. We've heard a lot of reports of Dogman being kind and helping them escape out of the woods and stuff. So there's not just all bad Dogman.
No, I agree.
I
Well,
had
the
I
one
had
that
a
was
cryptid,
good. No, I'd leave it alone.
I had a cryptid standing 2 feet away from me that was 7 feet tall, and he I can say he because I could verify that it was a male.
How?
Jay?
Oh my!
He
Nowadays.
identified as
Yeah,
a
we're
male.
going to have a
Happy
TV
to see
show.
him. That's how
It was
he's
quite obvious.
He's happy to
Um,
see you.
Now this thing was standing 2 feet away from me, and it was looking down at me, and I could see the eyes. Now, the eyes were shaped like ours, except a little bit wider, and they had the lens on the eyes bulged out quite a bit, and underneath those lenses, you could see the pupils. Okay, but the pupils were set back. Okay, so those lenses being so rounded, um, and the eyes changed color. When he first walked up, the eyes were red. Okay, when I'm standing there and I speak to both of them, the eyes go from just glowing red to red, orange, yellow, and then I saw the pupils were slits like a cat's,
Oh,
and they were black, but it had a dome over the pupils. So, and that's what allowed the eyes to glow like they did.
almost be like binoculars.
Yeah.
If you had your pupil back so far, the lens out, it'd almost be like a magnifying.
I was wondering that too, if some of these cryptids can zoom in and out, kind of like what an eagle or an owl can do also, that they can be, let's say, across the field from our back, or a field behind us. It's 50-acre field. They could be on the edge of that field, probably zoom in, see me sitting in the backyard. No problem.
Probably.
Hmm.
Yeah, sure. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like the
crocodiles have lenses that they put up when they go swimming underwater.
Right.
Right.
Hmm.
So, there's a lot of things, and the only way we're going to learn is question and ask stupid questions that people say, but there's no such thing as a stupid question, right?
Right.
Never a stupid.
That's when
Ask
you
if
saw
you don't
it.
know.
Mhm.
And so there's a lot out there, I think, that we do understand, but there's a lot more that we don't understand. But
Mhm.
I've heard the reports too of dangerous, monstrous Bigfoots and Dogman and whatever And I take into account, like it said with the native people, Cherokee versus a Comanche, two different animals there. Um, but they're considered the same Indians, you know. So I think we do the same thing. We categorize something, and we don't really understand what we're looking at. Just the same with a garden snake and a rattlesnake. They're both snakes. Well, they're both can bite, but one of them has a heck of a lot worse bite than the other, you know. So I think we have to look at it that way. And I think when people get stuck into everything's a rattlesnake, then you've already got your mind made up.
Right.
Right.
Now you gotta have an open mind in this field. Yeah.
You have to.
It's like
Yeah,
Figgy says in
exactly.
the chat, you know, she says sharks have them too. Well, there's a perfect example of, is this thing a fish? Is it a mammal? Um, it's a combination of the two, because it has to live in the water, but yet um, it is different than any other fish in the water, and that's why it's not classified as a fish, because the makeup of the shark itself um, is different than fish, but yet it has to live like a fish. So you've got different species that have so many similarities, and they coexist, and at some point or another, one's going to cross over into another, and that's why we find different species of shark in the ocean.
Yeah, same with whales.
Yeah, at some point, um, if you believe in any kind of evolution, um, because evolution does happen, it just doesn't happen to the extreme that we were taught.
Hey, T. Carpson. Yay.
Evolution is the survival of species, and every species has to evolve to a certain point, and that would include crossbreeding to a certain extent, and that's what a lot of people speculate in the cryptid world, is these things are able to continue on because crossbreeding, like you find half Bigfoot, half human, and so on and so on. And whether it's government infused, or it's just nature, or something uh, otherworldly, it's still part of evolution.
You know, the Russians back in the late 40s, early 50s tried to breed apes, gorillas, monkeys, whatever, with people and come up with a super soldier.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
anyways, it didn't work out supposedly, but yeah.
Germany was doing that too.
Huh?
Germany was doing that too during the war. They're trying to clone things and stuff with animals and humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, a lot of the Russians, well, they copied the Germans, but they had some German people that defected um, and go to Russia. You know, like Wolf Messing. He was a well-known psychic. You can look him up. But he was the one that caused the U.S. to really look into um, the paranormal for answers and psychics and mediums. And so the Russians were way ahead of the U.S. in this. We aren't now so much. And then you know you have um, people that like Ed Dames and others that were remote viewers. You know, so there's a lot of stuff out there that we now know that we didn't know for many years. You know, so there's a lot of information out there if you
Yeah.
can find it. That's the whole thing. If you can find it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
if you
Right.
can find it.
Yeah.
Keep going. I'm gonna say hi to a few people. Oh my goodness, there's so many new people that came in. Hi, hi Sharon with 2 R's. Hey AI Mike again. Hello Figgy. Lori, nice to see you. Where'd it go? So, Tina, hey, how are you doing, honey? And then is it Sonia? Yeah, Sonia, I believe it is.
Sonics.
Sonics. Hello,
That's John P.
John P.
John
Is that
P.
John P? Oh my God.
Hey,
I haven't
John.
seen John P in a while. John P.
Why is John P that way? Okay.
It's his wife's account. For some
Oh,
reason, he logged in on his wife's account.
His
Okay.
wife's account. Okay.
It's messed me all up. That's what he did.
I have a question for Matt and Jim.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
the blankety blank are you guys smoking?
Oh, we put out 2 videos actually last couple of days.
All right,
This is-
so you're smoking your tobacco and nettle. I didn't realize you
Yeah.
can smoke nettle. Now I know
Yeah.
you can smoke mullein and lavender,
oh yeah.
catnip, but I've never heard of smoking nettle. So
Yeah, Matt
benefits
likes his
from it.
mullein. He dries mullein. He adds
Yeah.
his mullein. I used to do mullein, but not as much. We just over the last, I guess, 20 years or so, we've continued to improve our smoke. But tobacco is real strong by itself, and then stinging nettle, we started adding it in over time, and now it's about 50% because it just makes the tobacco not so strong.
Okay.
And you get
I
all
know
the
mullein
vitamins.
helps the lungs, but I didn't know what the nettle actually did for you.
Oh, it's actually you look at the what do they call it? The allergies for dogs on the Tractor Supply aisle.
Yeah, you go to Tractor Supply and look at the ingredients on all the stuff, so you'll know what's good for you. And anyway, on goats and all that, it's stinging nettle. They put that in
They
there
put
for
stinging
their
nettle in there for their animals. Like
if you have yes, I don't know how you know if an animal has allergies, but anyway, if you go to Tractor Supply,
get some, or you can grow stinging nettle, or if you're in Kentucky, because that stuff grows wild in Kentucky.
it took us many years to
Grab
get
some.
it took us many years to get stinging nettle established, but now we harvest
we
it
got
3 or 4 times
tons.
a year.
Oh,
we got
I
tons
know
of
the
stinging
barn so
nettle.
bad. I pull it down, give it to the chickens and goats. Yeah, and I save
Mm.
some for tea.
Stinging
Yeah, I
nettles
never
is
thought of
also
smoking
good
it.
for like your
really good for
breathing.
Okay, but I can add some to the mullein and see what it's like because I do smoke the mullein to help with my lungs.
Yeah, Matt, he puts sage in his. I don't like sage, but
Yeah,
he's got his own
sage and
flavors.
mullein. The only reason why I do sage and mullein at times is just to fill in the cracks, or if I'm running low on
Why
some
lavender?
of what I got. Lavender, we haven't been lucky on
I've
growing it
smoked
well yet.
It's got a salty flavor, so
Yeah,
that's
same
weird.
with the catnip.
I ain't smoking no catnip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll
Well,
start
taste
making the
it, that's
whiskers
all
grow.
I
Well,
did.
well,
I ain't gonna-
stinging nettle is the
No.
kin to hemp or
Okay.
cannabis.
Catnip is good for humans, though.
Yes,
Is it?
catnip. If you do a
I heard
catnip
it.
tincture, it's good for a fever and stuff. There is a lot of benefits to catnip.
Wow.
Mhm.
See, I learned something new today, y'all.
And lavender actually gives you not a buzz like weed, but lavender will actually, I mean, it helps you relax. So yeah, you can buy organic dehydrated lavender online for very, very cheap. But add some lavender to it, it makes it taste better. If it's if you're smoking something harsh,
Yeah.
I
lavender
remember
actually
way
helps.
back. Oh,
Okay.
sorry. I remember way back when we first started smoking, with Dad's plan and doing stinging nettle and stuff like that. We had some passion flower in some jars, and I smoked some of that, and I swear, still today, it's like one of the really best ones to smoke for something. That stuff, it's been a while, but it's really good from what I remember. I don't know what I did.
I'm just laughing. He can't remember what he smoked and what it did. So we're
Well, I'm sorry about that, but I do remember it was that good, so if anybody got passion flower,
Matt
try
starts shape shifting. Better take that stuff away from him.
yeah right.
it. Yeah. Mm.
You guys start turning into cats. I'm freaking out.
Cat people.
Start purring.
That's what you do for Christmas. Anyone that has a cat, give them a Christmas ball that has catnip in it. Don't tell them it has catnip in it, and it's got a practical joke. The cat's climbing up the
Maybe
tree.
that's what we need to give
Yeah.
our cats outside.
Uh-huh.
It has the star on top of the tree,
What
That's not good.
Oh, Biggie sent me a picture.
Yes, she sent you. Hey, Stevie B, it's good to see you in here.
I was just gonna say, I see Stevie
Stevie
B.
B, it's so good to see you.
And T Carp's also in the chat.
Yeah.
He should be joining us shortly.
Yeah, T Carp will be in a little bit. Our final guest appearance of our panel of people. We're excited for T Carp to come on too. When we were trying to figure out who all we should have on our birthday celebration panel, we had so many people that we love so much, and we can only put 6 people up here.
Mhm.
Right.
So, I was like trying to put the name out there and trying to figure out. And he goes, "Well, we'll see what T Carp's up to." And I said, "Well, let's see if Jane and Drill will come in since we're 2 hours earlier than normal, and since our new time starts different." And then of course Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. We wanted to see what you guys were up to, and then Ron, of course, our local friend that lives maybe 20 minutes from us, I think. So, it was really hard to figure out who all we should have because we have so many people that we could have invited. But we're happy that everyone is going to come and join us and have our panel. It's so much fun.
And
And
now
then
you got Moogs in chat.
Moogs.
Yep, Moogs.
What's next?
Yeah, Figgy sent me a picture, but I don't want to show it until I find out exactly who it's from and where it was taken. So
Yeah. Well, we'll
hopefully
look into it.
So Figgy, share that information with me. Email me, and maybe we'll be able to get the picture up.
Oh, you're welcome, T Carp. It was no problem. What's next? I don't know. When Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot was talking about smoking, I just kind of lost it. I went, "What? They're not smoking?"
we got off on talking about tobacco and stuff. Like
Jane
I said,
put us in the spotlight.
yeah, Jane put us in there.
Oh my gosh!
This is what we do.
Smoke these, so
Well, I smoke cigars as a woman, so come on.
Well,
Hey,
Tina says she's thinking about smoking our tobacco, but I got her nicotine patch. You're like, what? You got her nicotine patch? She don't even smoke.
We're trying to get her onto this
There's this thing about nicotine. Carl, what's his name? Tucker's selling them. I know you guys are. Why is Tucker selling nicotine patches? Right. I mean, you go to Walmart, it doesn't have real nicotine. It has like synthetic stuff. But anyway, I mean, this is a box that has 30 patches, and it's actually 21 milligrams of nicotine. And when I told her next time she gets a headache or what, I wanted to try it. But supposedly, I mean, we have pure nicotine that we take from the stalks of tobacco. We have a dripper or a tincture in the refrigerator, and so I don't know why nicotine is really super nutritional, and we're kind of into trying it. Learning more about it. Of course, we're trying to learn everything. It's when you get open minded, you do try and learn anything.
And supposedly it helps with the flu and such like that. Any type of flu you get, if you have some nicotine or you smoke or something like that, supposedly it helps you from getting sick of any type of flu type of deal.
Well, they proved that in 2020 that those who did not get the what or had very mild symptoms were pot smokers, cigar smokers, cigarette smokers, and the vapors. And we've also learned nicotine is actually good for you. And if you know that the government's lied to us about everything, I mean everything. Well, what is the one thing that they warn you that is going to kill you? It's dangerous. All the warnings all over the cigarette packs. They know it's good for us.
Yep.
And they're warning us that it's dangerous,
moderation,
cancer causing, and all this stuff. Alcohol is cancer causing.
in moderation.
From the alcohol, not smoking.
Well, if it's processed cigarettes, I wouldn't recommend them because it's
right. That's what I'm talking about. Anything that's bought over the counter, but the tobacco that you naturally grow, you smoke as much as you want, but I limit yourself on over the counter.
Right.
Yeah. Look at her. You go to some place like Europe and they have ketchup and it has basic ingredients. You come here to America and look at ketchup, you can't even pronounce a tenth of the words.
Yep.
So I think that they're definitely in the business of poisoning the American people. In my opinion.
That's
of course
that's
I was
why
an investigator.
That's why Europe's is spelled with the C and ours is spelled with the K to keep them separate.
Yeah, well, I was an investigator in Oklahoma City bombing, and there's a lot of things I could get into that people have not heard. Like I can tell you this, and you can put it as a fact, and that is they knew about it on the 9th. And so I left in the Army in the Murrah building, and anyways, Ernest Istook, who's a state congressman, I think, maybe a senator, but anyways, back in the time, he was standing there in front of the Murrah building with Lana Tyree, as I recall, from the DA's office here in Oklahoma City. And so they're about 30 feet apart, and they've both got a deputy sheriff with them. And he said, I don't know how they let this happen. We knew about this on the night.
Hmm.
And both of those deputy sheriffs, I met them, shook their hands, and interviewed them and others as well. And they both signed affidavits saying that they heard Ernest Istuk saying that.
Oh,
Wow.
So that's what I'll just put out there as a freebie. And if you have my email, you can email me. And one of the things we did down there trying to get the truth out is that we had a sign that said Ernest Istuk, and quote, we knew about this on the night and whatever. And so they didn't want that out to the American public, but that's the truth. And I interviewed Oklahoma City police officers that would come to us when we were investigating, making a film documentary on the Oklahoma City bombing, and told us that there was a lot of things that we should look into, like Karen Jakey and his murder, and walked off. So we had, law enforcement coming to us and wanting us to investigate because they were told hands off. So when I see like what's happened with tobacco and the food, yeah, there's an agenda there. There's an agenda.
Well, of course, there's always an agenda.
Oh yeah, some of us know their agenda, but it's been withheld from the American people. But and that's just like Bigfoot. I don't think that they're ever going to acknowledge it. And part of that reason is that if they live in the forest and they're forest people, and we're taking their home, and we're out there destroying their home to get gold and oil and wood and whatever else, all of a sudden, yeah, we'd have to recognize there are species that could be in danger. So
Yeah.
that's something to think about. That could be one potential point with it all, why they don't want to tell the truth. So people ask all the time, why? Well, I've studied enough of and been enough of it that they always have an agenda, and they're not going to let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you brought up two things I was thinking of. I mean, one thing in '84 was when they started putting fructose corn syrup, and it's in everything.
Yeah.
And when you put unnatural thing, a lot of people don't know this. If you put an unnatural substance in your body, it stores it into fat for safety reasons.
Mhm.
And so because it's got to work on it and try to break it down.
it can't-
And they've been, and all of our Coke, all of our soda products have been replaced. All of our ice cream products have been replaced. Every single thing. Well, I mean, we're making our own ice cream now. We take heavy cream and blend it and put stuff in it, but we make our own stuff with real sugar. And of course so anyway, that's probably the biggest reason why we have such obesity and diabetes is the fact that,
I was going to bring that up. You're right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yep.
and so I mean, that's just been, one of the things I definitely want people to understand. If you everything you eat unnaturally, your body automatically stores in fat until it can break it down. And it could be a while because it depends on what it is. It's hard for the body to break down unnatural stuff. And so, yeah.
Your body might have to sweat it out, type of deal. If it can't break it down through your gut system, it might have to come out of your skin, pores, and such like that.
That's true.
Like we're
And if you feel sick, you're not going to be out exercising. So you're screwed.
good, right?
Yeah, and then you have a lot of autism, diabetes, like you said, that have become more prevalent in the last 20 years, and it's
Yeah.
going up and up and up. And we have,
And I was on your second point there. I wanted to say was as far as one reason I don't think they want to recognize Bigfoot is, what does Bigfoot know?
yeah,
And I'm like, that's the reason I think they really don't want no Bigfoots. Like, if all of a sudden they said, okay, Bigfoots exist, they'd be one tomorrow on Fox News and CNN. There'd be one, and that would be the end of it because they were like, oh, you guys really don't know what happened? You know what's
Yeah.
going on? So I'm
it's a
pretty sure
gateway.
that's
And
what they know would probably really
Yeah.
hurt the government bad.
Frazzle
Well, look,
everybody.
people lose
And-
faith in government. That was one of the things when Roger Charles, who made a 3-part documentary on the Oklahoma City bombing, and they wouldn't show it. And Hillary Clinton called up ABC and said, don't show it, and it'll destroy the American people's faith in the government. And that's why they didn't do it. And so it's the same thing with Bigfoot. If you go through that door and you start to pursue things, then it's going to go into all kinds of things. that the government doesn't want to explain, like aliens and all this other stuff considered paranormal. And I think that that's the big thing. And they just laugh at people. If you go back and study Project Blue Book, it was only something that the government came up with to explain away everything.
Right.
And that's exactly what they did. And so they did the same thing in Oklahoma City, 9/11, Pearl Harbor, Vietnam. You know, they just explained it away, and people bought into it. And that is because a lot of people are not researchers. What they are is repeaters. They've been told what to believe, and comrade, we all just agree on it, and that's the way it is. And that's the attitude that this government has, that they're never going to tell us the truth.
Right.
Right.
Well, the government has a big problem because if you're open-minded enough to believe in the paranormal, cryptid world, UFO, aliens, then they have a big problem because you'll be open to anything. So once you go down to Bigfoot or UFO, then all of a sudden you start finding these little programs that they're all involved in. And that's what gets them scared, is because you're not going to stop at just a cryptid or the UFO experience. You're going to go past that. You're going to discover their programs that they have their little fingers and tentacles in.
Like I said before, the Russians started looking at this stuff after somebody named Wolf Messing, who was a German psychic, that predicted that Hitler would lose the war when they attacked Russia. And that information wasn't out yet. So they locked the guy up and he escaped and went to Russia. And so the Soviets had to do a couple of things, so they say, according to the KGB and the secret police, rob a bank psychically for 10,000 rubles and then go have tea with Stalin, who was under heavy guard. He did it both. And at that point in time, that's when the Americans didn't pay attention. But it opened so many doorways when you start looking at that stuff. And then if you get people, and they give us, things in our water, for example, like chlorine, and it affects the pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
Fluoride.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so what happens is it stunts your abilities, your psychic abilities. And so I've studied this stuff for over 40 years. I've tested, I've worked with, you can believe it or not, I don't care. But I have worked with mediums that they have gone into places that I've gone into, and they knew the names, dates, and things. There's no way, it wasn't on the internet. They already knew when they got there. And that's the kind of thing that the U.S. government was using with the CIA to get secret information. And so then what do they have to do? We have to discredit these people, or we just don't exist. And anybody who's been in the military knows that you just follow orders. Yes, sir. Whatever you say, sir. And if you don't, you can find yourself in a lot of trouble.
Right.
So.
Well, Harold, let's welcome Travis in.
Hey, Travis. How are
Hey
you?
guys. Hey, I'm great. Happy 1 year birthday, guys. Congratulations.
1 year.
You're very
Thank you.
Congratulations. Man,
1 year from the Bigfoot and stuff.
I heard that. I am so sorry that I was late. Had some church. I'm so grateful for you guys to even be invited on this and to be in a panel with such amazing guests. So man, kind of jumping in, I feel like I'm like, all right, just instead of like wading into the waters, we're doing deep end stuff. I love it.
I'm one of those people, Travis. I investigated bombing, I'm reiterating, but I've been exposing the truth for 30 years. And with that comes a price. And a lot of people aren't willing to pay the price. And once they get you isolated, they can beat you down. And that's how the government works. And so you have to stay visible, and you have to have the facts. You can't speculate and say, well, somebody said somebody that maybe it's true, maybe it's not. You have to deal with the facts. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they don't deal with the facts, and that's what you have to really deal with. Your dad did the same thing. And I can't say that I disagree with anything that he said, but there are going to be people out there that would look at it and say, no way, that's impossible. But these same people never spent an hour in the woods investigating.
Yep.
I think
Go ahead.
You guys, no, you said it really well, and another gentleman, and I apologize, he's right above me. You said it really well too. You know, there's so many people out there that mimic, or they just recite, or they regurgitate information. And I feel kind of bad because I was talking to Tony Merkel, and I did the little Tennessee and portals, and I'm like, Tony, I don't feel like good enough to even present this. And he's like, you have almost memorized these books, dude. You're not like you have imposter syndrome, but your dad actually went out there and did it. And that's the thing is like like I keep going through a lot of these videos, and dad couldn't stand calling himself a researcher. He's like, I'm just a guy who has questions and goes out and checks them. And yes, and that's what dad did. He's like, I have questions. I'm going to go out in the woods and I'm going to just see what happens. And the thing is when you genuinely go out and have those questions, and you genuinely want to find the truth, no matter what the truth is, then you start getting places.
Yep.
And people, and unfortunately, people like to put, whether it's Bigfoot, aliens, religion, all that stuff, they put it in a box. And if you don't fit in their box, or what their pastor told them, or what the government told them, or what the guy on Finding Bigfoot told them that Bigfoot was, then you're crazy. You don't fit my mold. But like you said, that like how long have you been in the woods? How many DNA samples have you collected? How many thousands of dollars have you spent? Have you put your reputation out on the line? Have you had some sort of government entities, maybe or maybe not, trying to discredit you at all possible things? Or have you gone against spiritual warfare and attacks? Things of that nature. I'm not saying you, but like those people that discredit.
I've been there with the government. There's all kinds of things on the Oklahoma City bombing that hasn't come out. I will tell you this: Charles Keefe, you look that name up, he was a state representative here in Oklahoma, really good friend of mine. And anyways, we worked together trying to expose what happened here in Oklahoma City. And he just recently sent Trump and his administration a copy of everything that we knew, and he's never heard back. So, it's all an agenda, and they have to stick with what that agenda is. So we're never going to hear the truth. And those of us that get out and try to expose the truth, you're going to be in the hot seat. And it doesn't matter. They're going to discredit you in any way they can. And that's what they do, T-Carb. I mean, they don't want the truth out in many things, and it's all a matter of control. It's all control. And they control our food, our water, and the people that have a PhD behind their name, as far as I'm concerned, in most cases, it stands for Pilot Higher and Deeper. And that's exactly the way it works. And I've dealt with the PhDs on the paranormal, and it wasn't a fair fight because they didn't know what they were talking about. But none of it's true. And by the way, parapsychology is pseudoscience. Why? Because you're dealing with the multiverse, right? And quantum physics, which they can't explain. So we're going to put it on the shelf over here, and now I'm going to attack you. And that's how they work.
Ron, I think that people would be very surprised once they get really down to the nitty-gritty of the sciences to realize that we really have no clue about, like you said, the multiverse. Dare I say, they don't even know what gravity is. There's things like that. They have no clue how anything works, and they pretend, and they take your government subsidized dollars to pretend that they do know what's happening and how it works, et cetera, et cetera.
They couldn't tell us we live in the law of buoyancy. So they had to make up gravity to try to explain it to us.
Yeah. But that once they get the talking media heads, like you pointed out, T-Carb, the people on whatever show, once they start paying them money, they're going to say whatever they're told to just say and do because they want that money. And T-Carb, I ran a site for 10 years, 7 of it. We had live cameras, and my buddy of mine, Tony Cummings, we paid most of the bills. We did tours. We did other things. I did 3 tours of Fort Reno, and I never charged a dime and made any money. If anything, I lost money. And it was all in trying to help people. But when I start seeing people making money, then I have to wonder what the real motive is.
Mhm.
Right.
And if they're being
Now,
paid, they're going to say whatever.
now I have no problem with people making money off YouTube. I'm just being real with you. I don't
No,
have
I
any
get
problem
it.
with making money off of
Yeah.
YouTube. I have problems with people that won't accept another person's viewpoint. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
so like obviously, if you guys don't know, and to your audience, if they've never heard of me, cool. I believe the supernatural part of Bigfoot and aliens and all that. Like, I believe they're supernaturally connected. Now,
Yeah.
and they classify that as woo. Do I understand why people believe that it's bipedal ape? I understand that. I don't believe that. I understand it, and I don't try to discredit them or I don't try to silence them, but I disagree with them. I have a problem with people trying to silence and completely discredit, me and my father's work because it may disagree with their findings.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was your dad, one of his books, my twin brother, sent me your dad's book. I can't remember which one. It's on the shelf in there. And I had an experience with Bigfoot back in 1983. And we heard whistling and some large object being thrown in water. And my brother brought that back to me and he said, "No, I read this book called the guy who wrote it, Scott Carpenter." And he sent me a copy of the book. And when I began to read the book, then I said, you know what, this guy is right. But it's funny that they have to discredit Bigfoot not only because who he is and the implications of saving the forest people and their land, right? But the woo that goes along with it. And here's the thing about the woo. I'm all about the woo. Okay. And that is that nobody who's ever bought into the woo reverses. It's those people that experience enough Bigfoot that buy into the woo because of things they can't explain, and they
You know,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Ron.
I
So,
was going to say
Ron,
that, yeah,
a good example of that, a guy who's been in the woods a lot and was totally anti-woo was uh, was Survivor Man Les Stroud.
yep, that's
Like
true.
he like came to Dad as scientific. This Bigfoot thing is Gigantopithecus. That's what it is, and spent time out where Dad's research area is. By the way, that got closed down. Uh, Me and Tony Merkel talked about it, and and I actually sent some pictures to L.A. Marzulli, and he was concerned about it. They put a big sign up says government land, no trespassing anymore, all that stuff. Very, very interesting. Anyway, sidetrack. He went out to that land, had a supernatural experience, got mind spoke to, and it's like, okay, now what's happening here? And we're talking again, Survivor Man, Les Stroud, as science gets. We're not talking. Les Stroud's not out there. He's not. He's as chill as a cucumber. But when he has an experience that he can't explain away, and he goes and makes sure he's not crazy before he tells people, then guys know there's something to this woo stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
See,
that's what I'm saying.
that's
A
the
lot of
big
people
thing.
You never see anybody who believes in the woo and then all of a sudden accepts science fully. And that's something that a lot of people that study parapsychology realize, that these psychologists and other people that have their PhDs, they ignore. And I think that's very common. Again, if you can't explain it, you can't control it, let's just ignore it. And that's exactly what they do. And I think you go back, like I said, they're putting chlorine and water and all these kind of things to hamper what we'll call psychic abilities. I can tell you, T-Carb, I've worked with mediums that if you were there, it would blow your mind. They walk in, they know nothing. I call them in because they're dark cases, and I want to know what's really going on, what the truth is. And they walk in knowing dates and names and things, and it's not basic. It's like they did this service or whatever, worship the devil, whatever, and buried the stuff on the outside of the house, on the south side, near the bedroom window. I mean, right specifically, and that stuff was found there. How would that person know? And the native people, they had those gifts, and they continued to practice them for a long time. And a lot of them don't practice it anymore because they have been, I'll call it brainwashed, not to believe in it. But I still believe in it. I see it. I have a twin brother, like I said, and him and I are pretty close. And I know T-Carb, when he's going to call me, I'll look at my phone, and within 2-3 seconds, my phone rings, and it's Lonnie. And how does science explain that? They can't. But what we have to deal with is the present evidence and too many examples of it out there. And that's where I have a problem with science, because they totally ignored the facts and they just want to call it woo. And we've been brainwashed since we were little kids not to believe in ghosts, Bigfoot, or any of this stuff. And so we're just repeating what we've been told. And my grandma, she was a half-breed Cherokee Indian, so was my grandpa. And they were very adamant, and we fought for the South during the war. And they were very adamant, you can't believe anything the government tells you.
Right.
They're absolutely right. And I say the same thing. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Scott. Hey, Travis. Who was your little puppy dog?
That's my puppy dog, Bo. So he's I got him about 4 weeks after Dad passed away. So he's my buddy. He's brought a lot of joy and laughter into this stuff. So
that's
he's
cool.
I came in and he's not going to leave me alone. So that's part of it.
I'm glad, T-Carb, that you picked up your dad's legacy, and they're out there doing
Thank you.
Need to do. And I'm trying to get my kids and my grandkids to do the same thing. And to me, it's all about what your dad did, helping people.
Right.
And
that's what I want to get out, because I think so where Dad's, and I just want to say this for your listeners that may or may not know, Dad, when it really got down to it the last couple of years, Dad really focused on people. He really did. He was sick and tired of trying to prove if Bigfoot exists. He was like, I can't stand these wood knocks. He's like, don't send me any more pictures. I want to be there for people that have had experiences and cannot deal with it. What his job was is, okay, like if you see a bear out in the woods, you're not going to have PTSD from a bear because, hey, you understand bears exist. You know how to react. But you do have PTSD when there's something that happens that your brain cannot understand because it wasn't programmed to. And I'm getting to exactly where you're talking about. We're as children, we're talked about to, oh, these things don't exist. Don't worry about that. There's nothing there, all that stuff. When in reality, there is more supernatural stuff out there than we actually have any clue about. Right. So if Dad can make folks aware, it's like, hey, these things exist. Here's what happened. If you had an experience, here's what happened. You're not crazy. Here's how to do X and Y and Z. And some people just need that. They just need to know that they're not crazy. And if you have, and I'm going to say that too right now, is like, if you've had an experience, you're not crazy. What you saw happened. What you saw is real. It wasn't voices in your head. It wasn't you making things up. These things happen. These things happen to hundreds of thousands of people. They just don't talk about it.
Right.
And what happened is more, I call it supernatural instead of paranormal, because supernatural is like, we're in the natural world, but I believe the supernatural is kind of like, we just don't know how much or how of it actually exists. So we just don't understand it. It is more natural than maybe we are, is the scary part. But I say all that to say, is like that at the very end of it, Dad just wanted to help people.
Right.
And that's where I want to be. I want to help people. I'm not as good at it as he is, and I never will be. But I'm going to try to continue to get the word out. I'm going to do it in my own different special style. A lot of people are okay with that. A lot of people don't like it. I understand. But hey, you know, I invite anyone to come hang out, and you know, I will be on anyone's channel that I can if I have time, and I love to talk to everybody. Unfortunately, God has given me the gift of gab, and my wife can't stand it, but here I am.
You know, what you said, I think your dad like what I experienced with the bombing, and that is you want to tell people, and half the people don't want to listen. So you don't want to end up wasting your time. And I think that's probably what happened with your dad. And the only people that would listen were the ones that were affected. And if it doesn't affect you, I don't care. And I can tell you, I'm a service director for the state of Oklahoma, Community Emergency Response Team. And so I've worked tornadoes and I do emergency communications, ham radio, all that stuff. And people don't care. I can tell you, T-Carb, I can recruit people. I went out and spoke in front of 30 people and presented the CERT class and tell them, this is Oklahoma. We have large, dangerous tornadoes and people die. I've been there digging through the rubble. And they like the story, but they take the class. But I talked to them about getting their ham license and learning this and doing something for your community, and none of them do it. These are 30 people at a time. And I would say that your father felt the same way, that it's like Yeshua, that's his real name in Hebrew, when he went around talking to the people, they all wanted something from him. And when they didn't get what they wanted, they walked away. And it's the same thing. And I think your father figured that out and said, you know what? I'm going to help the people that need to be helped.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that everybody in this panel is here to help others, but they're here to teach themselves and to be a better person. And a lot of people don't have that, T-Carb. I think a lot of them, it's almost like they want to don some uniform and say, I have this, or I had an experience, I had this. And it's all about their experience, and that's great. But what are you going to do with that experience? And that's what your dad did. It was real. And I'll tell you why I know it's real. I never met your dad. I would have loved to have met him. But I think that he lived those experiences. He wrote books. He was not ashamed. And if you go back to the gospel, you look at what happened to every one of those disciples. It wasn't a good life for them. They were murdered. They were tortured for their faith. And so who's going to do that? And I think it's people like your dad and others that are standing up and saying, I know what I saw. This is real. I've seen the evidence. Not only did I see, I've seen the footprints. I've seen the twisted branches. And, you know, I've seen things that happen where water bowls are moved. That are, after the rain, you can see where it's set, and the thing was picked up and moved. There's no footprints. I know what happened. And you tell people that, and they go, what were you smoking? You know? And you know, the guys in Kentucky know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. And so when you talk to people, and that's where it comes in here, and it's kind of personal to me, all stories made up by drunk Indians. But when you see it and you know it, like your dad did, and you've seen it, and people on the panel, we know it's real. That's why I'm here. Not with an agenda. I'm making no money at this. Neither do they. We're just here to help people. And
right.
That's my whole thing, you know, and it's real. It's as real as you and me. And again, a lot of these things, Scott, I think, not Scott, but T-Carb, can be explained through the multiverse in quantum physics. And science has not reached that point to understand. Look at Ivor T. Sanderson and his work about the triangles around the world where they have these strange coincidences and people disappear, like the Michigan Triangle and the Bennington Triangle and the Devil's Triangle and the San Japan Triangle. It all relates back to geometry.
There's a lot of that stuff. Actually, where I'm located here in East Tennessee, uh, there's been a few folks that I'm trying to get with, and it's like, why is this area such a hot spot? I don't believe, it's just because Dad found a few things that it's a hot spot. There's something going on here, and I don't fully understand what it is. But there's a reason why Oak Ridge National Laboratory is here. There's a reason why Norris Dam and all that stuff that goes along with that was here. There's a reason why the Cherokees had their national capital here, Tanasi. There's something here. I don't know what, but there's something here, and I want to know the why. That's what's picking in my brain lately.
Something you might look at, T-Carb, is look and see if there's a lot of running water, for one, and two, quartz crystal. And
so can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
Where Dad's where the area is it's a giant peninsula. There's water running all over the place here. So where I live is in the bends of the Tennessee River that they've dammed up and made lakes. So that's where I live. Also, so Knoxville is called Marble City. I live in between two quarries, literally.
Yeah.
So I don't. So I mean,
but quartz can store energy, and recordings. Some say as much as 13 billion years.
That's interesting.
There's a lot of energy that can be stored there, and so also a lot of quartz is found in sand rock and those type places. And so you go to these places, and they're going to be probably pretty heavy in quartz. I learned it in parapsychology, and I began to question it. And the more questions I had, the less answers I had. And a lot of it seems to go back to quartz and a lot of strange phenomena with those areas, like in Arizona and wherever else, Superstition Mountains, all that stuff has a lot of quartz, so to my understanding. So,
that's a lot of frequency and vibration out of those quartz, any type of crystals, quartz, any of that. Yep.
Every atom has its own frequency and vibrations. You do, we do. In fact, atoms are mostly hollow. So what's really inside of them? Something we can't see and sense. I think that if you want to say everything is God's creation, then we are God's creation. And a lot of it goes back to geometry. And I don't know if you know this, T-Card. The flag behind me is a Masonic flag. I'm a Mason, and that G actually stands for, a lot of people don't know this, but it stands for geometry. And geometry is God's signature on everything. And I've studied Kabbalah, you studied Kabbalah, it's all about that energy and God and the tree of life. And it's very interesting. It's all about your energy. And so I find it all interesting. And parapsychology itself is nothing more than all about energy. Everything radiates at a frequency. As a ham radio operator, I can tell you that, and so it's all about energy.
That's really interesting, man. That's really, really interesting. I know that for those who don't believe us when it comes to this crystal stuff, did you know that your phone, that's how your phone works, is crystals? This is how these headphones work, is crystals. How MRI machines has special crystals. So it's I didn't believe in the crystals for a long time, and then it's like, wait a second, like, what do you mean this electronic device has to have this certain lab grown crystal that has to be of this certain composition for the energy to go through it at a certain frequency? And it's like, it's in science, we just don't talk about it. So all the crystal stuff is absolutely 100% true.
They
Yep.
twisted it around, and a lot of this new age stuff comes out. Like this crystal has these properties, this crystal's had these properties. They are trying to twist it around, and then you've got skeptics, that it's just a rock. No, I mean you get an EMF meter and stuff like that. You'll see these meters going nuts and crazy. You use dowsing rods in front of these crystals; they'll do certain things.
Yep.
So it's not just a new age thing. There is energy and frequencies coming out of these crystals.
Let me tell you something. There's a guy, Harold. He's passed on now, and he ran the Ozark Research Institute.
Mhm.
And this guy was a dowser, but we're talking. I can't remember if you saw my Army hat or what, but come to find out, he was S2 military intelligence in the Army and worked for the CIA. And so, long story short, there was a harp that was lost, and I've got it on my website if you want to go there, Pros Investigations. And anyways, what happened was this harp was stolen. He got a map, and it was in California, and he got a map, a 10-mile square area, and doused the exact location on that map. And they put out flyers in the 2-block area, and within 24 hours, they had the harp back. And so there are books written on the subject of dowsing. Dowsing is a real phenomenon, whether people believe in it or not. I've dowsed and had experiments with them. And there's all kinds of writings out there that you're not going to find about the subject and how it works. In fact, in Vietnam, they were using dowsing. The Marine Corps was using dowsing rods to locate VC caches of weapons and their tunnels. And so they stopped it, and it came back, from my understanding, dealing with Marines. Of course, Marine means my ass rides a Navy equipment. But anyways, long story short, I was Army. But anyways, give them a hard time. But
Oh my goodness.
anyways, they stopped it because they said it wasn't 100% effective. And it's like, there's nothing that's 100%. So they quashed it. But I think the reason they did it, in all honesty, is you're opening that lid to the paranormal box. We can't explain dowsing. The last time I spoke at a conference, the guy was out there talking about dowsing rods. Didn't call them that, indicators, whatever, I don't care. But it was dowsing, and he was using that. And I told him in the end what it was, and he didn't like it. But he's a PhD, pilot higher and deeper. That's all they are. And so I think there's too much of this education. In America, we are not educated. We're indoctrinated. And we've been told so many lies that it's ridiculous. And we've got to break ourselves of that cycle. And your father, T-Carb, was one of them that I admire, the guy, because he really stood out and he took a lot of fire, but he did not back down. There comes a point in time you cannot back down. And
Thank you for saying that.
So
thank you so much for saying that. That means a lot to me. Dad wasn't that dude that backed down. That genuinely, man, I couldn't have said that better myself. He wasn't. He stood for the truth, even if he was the only one. He was a Christian, and I believe he's in heaven right now. And man, there's just, thank you for just saying that. And that's awesome that his legacy is that. It's pretty honoring to have a dad like that, because it's like, hey, it's my dad. It's like, everybody gets to be the, he's did this to this. It's like, hey, he's my dad. He grounded me when I was, 15, spanked my rear end, we all that stuff. But it's really wild to see. It's like how many people can say that they have a dad that is a trailblazer, and I'm so honored. I'm bragging a little bit because it's my dad. I'm a little biased,
right, you're dad. That's awesome.
But I'll just tell you, I'm so blessed I'm just so blessed to call him mine.
That's awesome, T-Carp.
He was a good guy. My dad, he was aviation ordnance. When I joined the Army, gave me a fit. But other than that, I think some of it you learn in the military. You're told to follow instructions or orders, but there comes a point that you get tired of following orders, and you got to blaze your own trail. And I think because of what your dad saw and what he was told in the military, he knew was wrong. I think that's part of the reason he stood up and said, you know, I'm not going to put up with it. I'm going to do the right thing. And
and a lot of people don't know he was in the military. I released that video with Mom, and Mom really explained it and explained some things that I didn't even understand. His dad, like you said, in the military, he was actually in telecommunications. Was privy to a lot of different stuff, not just, you know, dad didn't get into the Bigfoot for a long time, but he was privy to things, you know, things that made him come home and be very worried. The only things he really ever told me is he never wanted to, he was out after 4 years and he didn't want to go to that, he didn't want to go to NORAD. And that's where he said is where they kept the bodies of extraterrestrials. That's he did not want to go there. He did not want any part of it. And I know that sounds absolutely lunacy to some people, but that's so we were a we were a extraterrestrial, or we knew something was up for a long time. And then Bigfoot actually came in when I was 18, 19 years old. So it was if you can imagine that just being the later part of it. But say all that to say is like, yeah, there was a lot of things that Dad was privy to that he would, and he taught us from an early age is never trust the narrative. Never trust what they tell you. Never trust the narrative, because it is all BS. It is all BS.
It's all opposite of what they're telling us.
Yeah.
What we're taught in schools and everything.
The sad thing about the military is if you don't get along and do what you're told, they're always threatening you with an Article 15 or, you know, incarceration at Fort Leonard Wood or wherever, you know. They're going to send you there. They're going to send you Leavenworth. Yeah, that's it. They're going to send you somewhere and lock you up, you know. It's always threats. And it's good to know if you're breaking the rules, but sometimes it's I think it's used too much. And I think they also put out information they don't want out. And so back in the day, I can remember we had cameras, film cameras, and this is in the 80s, and we had Bradley fighting vehicles around. And if they caught you with a camera, they would come out of headquarters or wherever and take your camera, get you all together and take a picture. Say they're going to take a picture, rip the back of your camera open, and expose all the film to the light, and throw the camera back at you, and the film's on the ground, you know. So they knew we had cameras, and I think some of that was probably they were trying to find people maybe going to sell that information to Russians. I don't know, but they always have an agenda, you know, and you never know what that agenda is and why they're doing it. But I think it's all about control in the end, every bit of it. And if you don't pay your taxes, you don't do this, you don't do that, it's always threats. And that's the thing that really gets me, is it's always the threat, you know, with everything in life.
Absolutely.
You know.
Well, you guys, it's 8 o'clock now, so I'm gonna ask each one of you to, if you have any closing thoughts, and to share your what you got going on next, and where people can watch your content or get a hold of you if they need to. So, anybody want to start?
I got notes. I'll take it real quick. I've been taking notes on these guys because Ron, both T-Carp, Scott's son. Anyway,
Yeah.
you know, you guys broke up a lot of things there. I'll just, you know, like I said, this is quick. You were talking about, like anecdotal evidence is allowed in courts, but it's not allowed in science. You know, and enough witnesses would say there's got to be something here.
Mhm.
And
They
also,
don't believe the word of mouth anymore. You have to have proof.
yeah, that doesn't work. You can't have 6,000 people, eyewitnesses.
Right.
You know, and also, like National Recreation Area. If you look at National Recreation and you look at the recreation, it's recreation. It's what it is. It's a national recreation area. I mean, look at the spelling. It's what it is. We call it recreational, but it's recreation area. That's what it is.
Hmm.
And I want to say on Scott, yeah, we had PTSD, 4 years ago, and luckily we come across Scott stuff and people like that, and Janice Carter, and they really, that's what saved our butts, because me and him, we wouldn't have had anybody, but luckily there were people like them that were out there, and so we hats off for Scott.
Helped us.
I
big
agree.
time.
I'm ex-Air Force. He was ex-Air Force. I'd send him a message, and then he passed. And I was like, son of a gun, never got back to me.
The connection was just getting started. I was
Yeah,
like, dang it.
yeah, dang it. Still sitting in my message box waiting to go. No,
I'm so sorry, man. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Right. And two other things I wanted to say. The 3-Eye Atlas. I was thinking about that today. Does that stand for 3-Eye at last? I'm just saying. These words I use as a phrases: 3-Eye Atlas, three eyes at last. I mean, and, yeah, third eye at last. You're like, hey, did they spell it right there? And then you were talking about Joshua, and Joshua. I've heard Yeshua. So I like words like that, and like Kentucky. King Tut Key. The goat up there, Fort Knox. I just like throwing things in there. I know these are just like, you gotta be crazy. You're making up stuff.
The Egyptian.
Hey, I'll just tell you that Fort Knox is very close, and I hear that like up there in the cave system might be where they got a lot of gold. But King Tut Key, just think about that one. And what else?
The Holy Spirit likes to work in puns, my brother. He does.
Yeah, right. I'm with him. And the Appalachians, right? You're talking about crystals. That's what we have here. We have so much rock. Every rock we pick up is crystal. I can sit down. I'll sit out in the yard. He was doing bees the other day, and I would sit out I sit on the leaves and just make smoke while he's working the bees and just picking up rocks and looking at the crystals. So we're the Appalachians just covered in the crystals. I think that's
it is, man. You're right.
That's some kind of energy thing. The Appalachian all the way up and down, and I think that's amazing. West Virginia is the only state that is fully 100% on the Appalachian. I just thought that was curious. And that was just my stuff. And we're Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. We love everybody, and congratulations on your birthday anniversary, guys. And by the way, Harold, there's only one other story I know of that is mind blowing than yours. And it's a guy that I know that was in the military, was up in Alaska, and they had a blue pyramid, and they came and attacked the base, and holy crap. But that's the only story that tops your experience. I mean, I heard your experience recently, and whoa. I mean, really, that was the first time I really got to. Most people say, I saw a blurry thing running through the woods. That's us. Hey, that's a blurry thing through the woods. But I was like, wow, this guy has actually stood out there and seen something that most people don't have, no kind of experience like this. So anyway, just want to say that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
One thing I gotta say is short is psychics and stuff like that, and using your psychic abilities and such. What I see out of that is just your natural abilities.
Yeah, we all have them
without tainted natural abilities, and so you still have your gifts of whether it's using your divining rods or whether you can see into the future or seeing others, and however, I just see that as your natural abilities, and they try to put a lot of I was thinking fentanyl, but I was trying to say what's that stuff they put in the water, fluoride and such like that, trying to block out your pineal glands and such.
And last comment I want to say, I had another pair, Scott Carpenter. He helped bring out the amateur investigator movement, right?
Yes.
I mean, because we were like amateurs, and now we're like putting apples out in the woods. And I'm watching Scott's video. I'm like, this is really cool. And so, congratulations, because I mean, it was like you had to be. I don't know. For some reason, we all thought you had to work for NASA to do this stuff. And so, thanks to Scott, he's made it more comfortable people to. And I enjoy everyone going out camping and doing that thing and getting out in the woods and being with family. And I think that might be the reason why the Bigfoots and all that are dragging us out in the woods, to get us kind of back to nature and back to good. And so anyway, that's
Physically or spiritually.
it. So thank
Bigfoot's
you
dragon.
very much for inviting us and having us.
Thank y'all.
We've enjoyed it.
Thank you,
Thank you
for
for coming
coming in.
Yeah, we thoroughly enjoyed each and every one of y'all coming on here tonight, and we will be asking y'all to come on at sometime in the near future again. And we really thank each and every one of our people in the chat
Yes.
for showing up.
Yes.
This show almost didn't happen tonight, but thank goodness it did.
Oh my gosh.
Because I know they've learned a lot, and we have learned a lot from each and every one of y'all. And it's just a privilege to meet every single one of you and to know you, and may you have continued success in the future.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much. Again, happy 1 year birthday.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gerald and Jane, are you guys going to do your Midwest Night Watchers night owl at
10
10
p.m.
o'clock?
10 p.m. Central. We'll do the Night Owl Lounge. And the only other thing I had to add to this show is that it was a privilege to meet and talk with all you, and T Carp, first time meeting you, and Ron
Yes.
also. So thank you for coming and enjoying this celebration with them. And if you ever want to learn anything, make sure to go out in the oceans and talk to the dolphins, because the federal government made it illegal to talk to dolphins. So there's got to be a reason. I want to know what they have to say.
Oh my goodness.
They're a little.
Lonely.
No, there are psychics
I heard-
out there that speak to animals. Just saying.
Yeah, they
Oh,
are.
Yeah.
I heard the dolphins can be a little too friendly.
Is that why?
Don't go down that rabbit hole. Don't. It's a bad rabbit hole. Don't go down it.
Don't hide the dolphins.
Oh,
I've
my
never
goodness.
had an experience with a dolphin when I was fishing, but down in South Texas, we have a lot of porpoise. So I was out fishing with my buddies one day, and we were in almost chest high water, wading out there and fishing into a channel. The channel's about 40 feet deep, and we're right on the edge. And all of a sudden, these porpoises start coming around, and they're swimming between our legs and doing their back walking on top of the water and just making all kinds of noise. And then I look across the channel, and there's like a 13, 14 foot great white coming up, showing his fin, and it had a big chunk bit out of it. But then I kept watching, and I was kind of watching in between the two, and then the great white decides to go back this way, and he's still on the other side of the channel. But this time he comes up above the water enough to where his eyes are out of the water, and I knew he was looking right over it, and he was getting ready to come. And so did the porpoises, because the porpoises took off from the shallow water where we were, and got him going, because he went under. And then the next thing I know, just before he got to the bridge we were next to, he comes up above the water and kind of goes like this, and you can see his tail fin on the back. He slaps, right? He's got that where it's cut in the water, but he lifted that sucker up and he slapped the water, and then he took off. And then the porpoises came back around us, and once they came back around us, they kept swimming in a circle around us.
That's wild, man. That's wild.
Because we didn't have enough time to get out of the water, because we're up to this in water, So if we would have made a lot of noise, that great white would have been after us. So he was already casing us. But thank goodness for porpoises, I say.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I should add happy birthday, and I'm going to do something that you just love, Christy. Ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Yay, we got to go. So Jane and Jill know this, but keep watch for our Christmas Eve broadcast. We have a secret coming out.
Oh,
We
Yeah.
have we have somebody that's gonna be making an appearance on Christmas Eve.
Santa?
Well, yeah,
Kind of.
maybe. Yeah, kind of. Just
Maybe
keep
one of the
watching.
reindeers for dinner.
Just keep watching.
Reindeer for dinner?
Reindeer for
Just
dinner.
saying.
I don't know.
But yeah, so everybody
Oh my goodness.
try to tune in for our Christmas Eve edition. I think a couple of y'all have already met who were
Talking about.
yeah.
Anyway, you guys,
Anyway.
it's 11 after 8. You guys are amazing. You guys are God sent. Thank you guys so much for all the knowledge that you guys bring forth. And we hope that we can continue doing this for years to come. Praying that God blesses this and blesses y'all and come back to visit us. I mean, you guys make this channel. We can't do this without y'all. We can't.
The only thing I got to say is I want to put in a plug for Fort Reno. They do the ghost tours and want me out there to help them out. So they got an event coming up on the 20th, and also the Bigfoot Enigma Research Center and Museum. Tanya Cordick, good friend of mine.
Good friend of
that's
ours.
here in Oklahoma, in Clayton, Oklahoma. So go visit her, and you'll see my missing banner there. So that's another thing I got. You know, I got other stuff coming up, but keep it up, guys. Appreciate all of you. Love you, and God bless. T-Car, nice to meet you, and the other people as well. So love you all. That's all I got.
You guys.
And if you want to go to my website, prosinvestigations.com. It's been up for 20 years. I've got some pretty good pictures there, so go look at that. Yeah. And on YouTube, I'm CERT Instructor Ron. So I wear more than one hat, but anyways, that's me. So if you see me on your channel, CERT Instructor Ron, it'll have the Homeland Security sign on it. But anyway.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, thank you, Ron.
You bet.
You're a good friend of mine, and hopefully we'll be able to get together soon and
do a collab.
Something.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. We can do a class. Let me know.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And no, Figgy, it's not Santa.
No.
All right, you guys. I'm getting out of here before I wreck it.
I was already doing my off imitation. Santa!
Yeah, my little goat's a Christmas goat.
Woo!
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
All right, you guys. This is great seeing y'all.
You guys have a good night.
All right. Love y'all. Take care.
Good night, everybody. Love everybody.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, everybody.
Woo! You guys. Is that fun?
Yeah,
that was fun. That was 100% fun.
That was awesome.
You guys, we love you. We can't do this without you. We can't. So please come back to visit us.
Yeah.
Our new time, 6 p.m. Central.
6 p.m. Central every Wednesday night.
On Wednesday nights.
Yeah. So next time we'll be a little bit more prepared in the beginning.
You guys pray for us. We need a new computer. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Anyway.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. We'll see some of y'all before then, but
yes,
we'll be going into your shows and whatever and in the chats. But till next week, stay safe.
And keep squatching, everybody. God bless.
Early music fills the air, echo